General, last time we spoke, you said it was time for someone to switch on the military for their skill at engineering and airlift and building and medical. And I've been thinking about you throughout. Are they getting closer to what you had in mind?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the great work that the Corps engineer has done is like magic. And I think going back 4 weeks ago, my recommendation through the media was to tell the president, let the military take the lead on this. He'll be happy. They can work with FEMA, but let them be the lead in responding logistically, as well as build out of the spaces that need to expand the hospitals. And nobody can be any better at doing the hospitals in the Corps and the great work that Northern Command have done as silent partners in getting medical personnel on the ground in the two ships and playing a part in logistics. But that's the picture we wanted to see about 3 weeks ago.
General, you'll forgive the phrase, we don't have an honoree, however. I watch that briefing every day, and depending on the day of the week, I think somebody else is in charge. Is it still lacking a central figure, perhaps a retired U.S. general?
Well, we've got a lot of them around, but we got a lot of good ones in uniform right now that could do it, that are commanders, not staff officers or specialists, but commanders. What I see and observe, and I say this as an observation, not necessarily as a criticism, but I do think it's affected our effectiveness, is that they have three priorities. The priority they come in under title is to save lives. But when we get into the dialogue, the other title is to win the election. So many of the answers and the dialogue centered around making sure we're looking good. And then the third priority is the economy. In a disaster, there can only be one priority, and that is to save people's lives. If you start thinking about these other things and you mix them, you're going to have problems, Brian. What leaders have to know, presidents from now on out need to know. If you take the lessons going back to President Wilson and the great epidemic in 1918 and World War I, if you take President Hoover with the 1927 flood, if you take George Bush, President George Bush, who dealt with 9/11 and Katrina, in the first half of the disaster, you lose. The nation loses in the first half. We've got a resilient nation, but we always win the second half. And getting to the second half has been hard because our White House and our leadership never accepted the fact that this virus knocked us in the head, knocked us down, and we have thousands of people that are dead now. Yeah, it's an invisible enemy, but it's a disaster. And in any disaster, in the first half, you lose. But the people expect us to win the second half. And we're not winning it well because we're not getting on with testing. We've not accepted the fact that we may have to test every American 2 to 3 times in the next year.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.